Hey there, my name is Simon Owens, and this is my daily vlog. The first thing I can report is that running in extreme heat isn't very fun. I tried to get up early this morning and go for a jog, and at one point I looked down at my weather app and it said it was 87 degrees with extreme humidity, and I barely made it 2 miles before I had to stop, which really sucks because in about 2 weeks, I'm supposed to run in a triathlon in which I have to run a 10K or about 6 miles. So uh, for barely being able to run more than two or three, it's not encouraging. So we'll see what happens. But the thing I wanted to talk about today is about chatbots. And now, if you have no idea what the hell I'm talking about, that's kind of the point. So we about if you haven't noticed, chat apps are having kind of a moment right now. Facebook bought WhatsApp for something like $20 billion a few years ago. They've also launched Facebook Messenger. Both of these apps have over 1 billion users. Snapchat, although it's commonly thought of as a social media network, is technically a messaging app. Every app from Instagram to Twitter is heavily investing in their chat functionality within their apps. You hear about the rise of chat apps in foreign countries for everything from Kik to WeChat. So it's definitely has mass adoption. I think that a lot of that adoption is around replacing instant messengers, but also replacing text messages. But about a year ago, because of all this hype around it, you started seeing kind of this rash of articles about chatbots and how they were going to be kind of the future of how we interacted with brands and also news. And that's kind of what I want to focus on here was news chatbots. These were bots that were launched by actual major news organizations that you were going to subscribe to on these messaging apps, and it was going to be some new way of interacting with the news. So I didn't really touch any of them for a long time, but it was always kind of in the back of mind that if I was going to cover this intersection of tech and media, I should probably at some point start using some of these apps and see how they work. So a few weeks ago, I subscribed to a bunch of these chat apps, specifically ones on Facebook Messenger, since it didn't appear that WhatsApp has chat apps yet. So I subscribed to TechCrunch, the Wall Street Journal, Complex Magazine, and also some non-news ones. Like there was like a weather one, a quiz one, some kind of polling one. So I downloaded a whole bunch and just started kind of tested it out. And I found out almost immediately that pretty much all these apps just really suck. In fact, it's kind of almost an insult to call them chat apps, since there's nothing really chatty about them. They're extremely limited in the options that you can write to them. So, if I were actual real YouTuber or real vlogger, this would be the part where I could edit in and show you. But basically, every morning at a certain time, 8 or 9 a.m., depending on what time you set, they just send you a bunch of headlines, and you can have a very limited number of responses to them. So it'll be like, here's today's headlines, and you can kind of scroll through and look through them. And basically, they're just glorified push notifications, except in some ways much worse, because you kind of have to click into the app itself and scroll through the different through the different headlines. It's not like they're only pushing to you when there's something important, and it just quickly became a chore to even look at them. So for the first few days, I tried to force myself to open the messenger, but I would never even open it in my phone. I would wait till I was on my desktop, which shows that there really wasn't anything compelling about it. So there was just, and sometimes I would try to interact with the apps, but typing anything other than its very limited number of responses, which was like more headlines or just categories, didn't really yield anything. So I didn't really understand what the chat function was, or what the importance of having it on something like Facebook Messenger was. So after several weeks of trying these things, and just not even looking at my phone when I heard the little bling sound that came from Facebook Messenger, because I knew it wasn't coming from someone I actually knew, but was one of these chat apps, and not being interested at all, I just finally decided to go in and unsubscribe to all of them. And I've noticed I haven't really seen any new articles talking about the future, how these chatbots are the future of how news is delivered. So I'm guessing news organizations saw pretty soon that there wasn't much engagement. I don't really know anybody who actually uses any of these apps, and now I'm no longer a user. So yet another aspect of the tech sector that has been completely overhyped.